How can you speak about love and acceptance, but not when it comes to queer people?
I didn't feel like any of them saw me or were receptive to anything that I had to say. We can disagree with your lifestyle, but still be your friends.
I remember being 8 and just saying to myself wow, I just could never be gay. And I think just a general relationship of shame and silence. It's you just don't really talk about it.
In my school, there was nothing. Complete silence.
It was kind of, I guess, unspoken. They never really said we're inclusive, but they never really said otherwise either.
My school never really brought that up. They avoided the conversation.
To better understand the impact of silence and discrimination, I spoke with Rebecca Peretz-Lang, a psychologist at Purchase who studies how children perceive inequalities and identities.
In psychology, we use the word implicitly, so subconsciously. So even if you aren't kind of receiving explicit message, right? Even if there's no adult in your life that's saying, hey, being gay is wrong or being queer is wrong, kids kind of are picking up kind of automatically on kind of what they see around them in their communities.
I have a lot of internalized feelings of feeling like a bad person and evil simply from going to Catholic school and being told because I'm queer, I'm a bad person.
I just felt so uncomfortable. This was not where I was supposed to be and that I was not welcome.
Because I was really so religious, the first time I had a sexual experience with a guy, 10 minutes later I got into a car crash. And I was convinced that God was punishing me.
I spoke with Father Norton of St. Anne's Parish, and he told me how he personally interprets sexual sins and how he's seen it handled in the priesthood.
Where are the sexual sins in the Ten Commandments? 8 and 10. Okay? Not number 1, 2, or 3, 8 and 10. The gift that God has given to every single human being, called our sexuality, is an amazingly powerful, wonderful gift. My brothers in the priesthood are trying, I think they're trying to do the best they can, and they're trying to, do it the way, but sometimes we create things that are not there.
When you're gay, it means you have to sacrifice that part of yourself to be holy in God's eyes. If you're not coming to this conversation from a sense of I need to be chaste in order to be holy, I can't be sexual, I can't love, and it's under those conditions, you're not allowed to take part.
If something is consistently framed as immoral or not okay, or something that's not accepted by everyone you love, who loves you, then you might not even let yourself, acknowledge that part of yourself or do the exploration that sometimes you need to do to figure out your own sexual orientation. So, I feel like it really could delay the process for people of coming to terms with their identities, because you don't have the room to and the freedom to ask yourself questions about who you are when you're in an environment that is telling you this is not a good way to be.
I would take these things to heart and I'm why do I care so much? I'm not that way.
And I just remember sitting in the corner, watching the fight happen and just be if I want to say something, but if I say something, people will know about me. And then, so I have to sit here. And I felt awful about it.
God has directed and guided the Catholic Church, again, through many, many centuries. And the Church tries to say, well, this is the path that you should follow. But if the Church is going to preach out the word from a pulpit in church about gay love, then they better make sure that they're also being clear about what it means to be involved in a heterosexual love relationship. I don't understand God's ways enough to say that God's a two-way guy. I'm just wondering if there isn't an option 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Father Norton means well, but the Church historically teaches that marriage is strictly between a man and a woman. There's children in Catholic school learning about the sacrament of marriage right now, and queer identities are not being celebrated. they're being condemned.
So like I had those like little like moments where I felt like I could express it, but it was still like I was still obviously like bullied for it and like felt like unsafe.
I had a lot of issues in that school with like microaggressions. I always felt the need to like make some sort of change for the next person.
Religion becomes a way for people to cope with life and the ambiguity of life. And so for a lot of people, they need that like that organization that says like, you know, if you live by these principles and you do this thing, you will be, you know, rewarded in the end.